Hello students, welcome back. So today we are going to study about the lesson The Best Advice I Ever Had, written by Mrs. Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit. So this lesson is an article written by Mrs. Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, who is one of the sisters of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. She wrote this for the Reader's Digest. It is a monthly magazine when she was the High Commissioner for India in the United Kingdom. In this article, Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit refers to some of the hard and humiliating situations she went through in her life when she lost her husband prematurely. So let us begin with the chapter. The best advice I ever had came from one of the greatest souls the world has ever known, Mahatma Gandhi, on a sunny afternoon a decade ago. So, in the first paragraph, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, she mentions that she had got the best advice of her entire life. It came from one of the greatest person the world has ever known or the world has ever seen. And who is it? Mahatma Gandhi ji. So it came one sunny afternoon, a decade ago. So what's a decade? 10 years ago. Most people pass through a period of anguish when their belief in humanity is at low ebb. I was in such a period. My husband had recently died. My deep sorrow over his loss was followed by the humiliating realization that in the eyes of Indian law, I had no individual existence. Along with other Indian women, I had participated for years with men in the national struggle for freedom, working and suffering side by side with them until it had finally been achieved. Yet in law, we women were still recognized only through our relationship to men. In the second paragraph, Vijayalakshmi Pandit says that most people pass through a period of anguish. What is anguish? That is severe mental or physical pain or suffering. Their belief in humanity is being low in spirit or is at low level. So she was in such a pain or she was going through such a period in her life. Why? Because her husband had recently died and her deep sorrow over his loss was followed by the humiliating realization that in the eyes of Indian law, she had no individuality there. She did not exist in front of the Indian law. That is, this women, we women don't have any rights in front of the Indian law at that time. So, along with other Indian women, she had participated for years with men in the national struggle for freedom. And she worked very hard, suffering side by side along with the men. And finally, they had achieved success. But she's telling, even after doing so much, the law, the Indian law, doesn't give equal importance to women. We women were still recognized only through our relationship to men. That is, we are not that worthy. The Indian law doesn't take us in that equal sense. Why is she saying that? Let us see in the third paragraph. Now, as a widow without a son, I was not entitled to any share of the family property, nor were my two daughters. I resented this galling position. I was bitter towards those members of my family who supported this antiquated law. In the third paragraph, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit says that she is a widow now. Obviously, her husband has died, so she becomes a widow. Now, she is without a son. She did not have any sons. So, she was not entitled to any share of the family property because she did not have any son. But she had two daughters, and those two daughters also were deprived of the share from the family property. That is, since they were only women or the girls in their family, the family property was not given to them. So I resented this galling position. What is galling? Annoying position. She was upset and she was bitter towards those family members who actually supported that antiquated law. What is antiquated? Outdated. So she was angry with her own family members who had not supported her.
At this time, I went to pay my respects to Gandhiji and say goodbye before leaving for America to take part in a conference. After our talk, he asked, "Have you made your peace with your relatives?" I was amazed that he would take sides against me. "I have not quarreled with anyone," I replied, "but I refuse to have anything to do with those who take advantage of an outworn law to create a difficult and humiliating situation for me."
In the fourth paragraph, she tells that at that time she went to pay her respects to Gandhiji and she wanted to say goodbye before leaving for America to take part in a conference. So she went and spoke to Gandhiji. So after they spoke, he said, or he asked her, "Have you made your peace with your relatives?" Because he knew that she's not in touch with her relatives. So he asked whether you have made peace with your family members, and she was amazed. She was shocked. Like, how can he take sides with them? He knows my problem and still he's supporting them. So she was shocked, surprised. And then she says, "I have not quarreled with anyone." She's telling, "I have not fought with anybody." I replied, "But I refuse to have anything to do with those who take advantage of an outworn law to create a difficult and humiliating situation for me." So she is telling, "I have not quarreled with my relatives, I have not fought with them, but I refuse to have anything. I don't want to have any connection with them because they have supported that updated law or that outdated law which is not giving any benefit to me. It is actually putting me in a even more difficult situation."
Gandhiji looked out of the window for a moment. He turned to me and smiled and said, "You will go and say goodbye because courtesy and decency demand this. In India, we still attach importance to these things."
So we all know the nature of Gandhiji. He's very soft nature. So he looked out of the window for a moment. He did not immediately respond. So after that, he turned towards Vijay Lakshmi Pandit and he smiled and he said, "You will go and say goodbye." He's telling, "You must go. You have to go." Why? Because courtesy and decency demand this. What is courtesy? Good manners, polite speech, or any action. All these are required. In India, we still attach importance to these things. That is, you have to show your manners. You have to be well mannered. Even if other person is being rude to you, you have to be kind towards that person.
"No," I declared. "Not even to please you will I go to those who wish to harm me. No one can harm you except yourself," he said, still smiling. "I see enough bitterness in your heart to cause you injury unless you check it."
But Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, she was adamant, she was strict, and she wanted to stay with that. And she said, "No." Immediately, she said, "No. Not even to please you will I go to those who wish to harm me." She's telling, even if you say me, I respect you so much. Still, if you also tell me to go and meet them, I am not going. That is fixed. So, what does Gandhiji reply? He just says, "No one can harm you except yourself." Such a beautiful line that he has told. He said, still smiling. He did not become rude or he did not become angry. Still, he was smiling and he said, "No one can harm you except yourself." Okay? And it is true. Unless you are not prepared for it, no one can come and harm you for it. "I see enough bitterness in your heart to cause you injury unless you check it." So he's telling, already there's so much of bitterness in your heart. That is, you are upset, all this anger and everything. That itself is spoiling your own heart. You don't want anything else extra there. So it's better you go and meet them.
I remained silent and he continued, "You are going to a new country because you are unhappy and want to escape. Can you escape from yourself? Will you find happiness outside when there is bitterness in your heart? Think it over. Be a little humble. You have lost a loved one. That is sorrow enough. Must you inflict further injury on yourself because you lack courage to cleanse your own heart?
When he said these words, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, she remained silent. She did not speak anything at that time. And then he continued. He said, you are going to a new country now. And because you are unhappy and you want to escape, because you're not happy here, and that's why you just want to escape, and that's why you're going to a new country. I know that. But can you escape from yourself? The things that you have in your heart, that will be taken with you, even to a new country. So you're not leaving that. So that thing will be there with you. So will you find happiness outside when there is bitterness in your own heart? That is, you're upset about something, it's already troubling you. Even if you go somewhere outside to find happiness, you won't find it. Why? Because that bitterness is in your heart itself. Now he's telling, think it over, think about it, and be a little humble. You have lost a loved one, you have lost your husband, and that is sorrow enough. You have lost your partner for your entire life. So, must you inflict further injury on yourself because you lack courage to cleanse your own heart? So, he's telling you just want to have or inflict, that is, impose or cause injury to yourself because you don't have the courage to clean your own heart. You know that it is very difficult to just go and tell somebody sorry. You don't want to accept your mistakes. But he's telling the same thing. You must have that courage to clean your own heart. Then you will find happiness.
His words would not leave me. They gave me no peace. After some days of severe struggle with myself, I finally telephoned my brother in law. I would like to see him and the family, I said before leaving.
Now Vijayalakshmi Pandit says that she could not leave the words that Gandhiji had told her. That gave her no peace. She could not think about anything else other than what he had told. So, after some days of severe struggle with myself, with her own self, she finally telephoned her brother in law, that is her husband's brother. She called him and she said, I would like to see you and the family before leaving. So, she finally agreed to meet them.
I hadn't been with them 5 minutes before I sensed that my visit had brought a feeling of relief to everyone. I told them of my plans and asked for their good wishes before starting on this new stage of my life. The effect on me was miraculous. I felt as if a great burden had been lifted and I was free to be myself.
So, finally, she met them. And when she met, it had not been even 5 minutes before she started feeling a kind of relief that she had met them. And it was not just a relief to her own self, even her entire family members were also in a relief. They were happy that finally everything is getting back to normal. So then she spoke to them about her plans and she asked for their good wishes before starting on this new stage of her life. That is, she wanted to go to America, so she was starting a new life there. So she wanted to take their blessings or the good wishes. Now that effect had been miraculous. Like, she was very happy. She did not accept that. And now I felt as if a great burden had been lifted off and I was free to be myself. That is, whatever bitterness she had in her heart, it was all gone. Now, in case, for example, you are upset with your friend and you don't want to talk to that person, obviously you will be feeling very guilty. You will have that great burden in your heart. But if you just go and speak to him and remove all whatever you want to say or whatever you have, the misunderstandings and everything, and then what happens, you feel a kind of relief, you feel happy. Okay, everything is cleared. Same thing she felt. So she felt that the great burden that she had in her heart is gone and now she's free to be her own self.